It's 2026 and the term blogging seems so old-fashioned and outdated. The trend now is to create short, viral, and eye-catching content. People are looking for a way to become famous and popular quickly. So that we have entertaining, dancing, and transforming videos. But to me, I want to stop for a moment and define the path that I want to take. I want to do something long term, something that people can gain value from when they see my content. And you see, I'm not a social media person. On my phone, there's no social media apps. And my main consumption channel is Google News. News is so much slower than social media content. News makes my brain think and visualize the scenarios and the context. But most importantly, I get bored easily. That's all I ever see is text, bunch of text. So I am very picky about what I read, and I choose the one that brings the most value. And realizing my point of view toward content consumption, I decided to pursue blogging. In other words, blogging is a representation of my interests and beliefs, as I believe a person should take information in a slow manner and actively consume it, instead of taking on whatever the social media throws at me. So in this video, I will share with you 3 reasons why I love blogging so much. And the reason number 3 is the most important one, because it applies to every single aspect of my life. Okay, so let's get to the first point. The most wonderful thing about blogging is I own it 100%. So instead of following the ever-changing social media policy, I am controlling my content output. This way, I can reduce my dependency on other channels and actually building my own media. So then, my blog is basically my digital asset. The second most wonderful thing about blogging is it is the basis to expand my digital asset portfolio. In other words, I can repurpose my blog into other forms of content depending on the channel that I am targeting. For example, this video is repurposed from my blog post, The Power of Writing, and it can apply to many other forms of content such as podcast, newsletter, YouTube videos, TikTok videos, Facebook posts, or Twitter posts. I see blogging as building my own house, and each blog that I write is a brick, and the more blogs that I write, the more bricks that are stacking up. And eventually, when people look at my website, they can see a well-established house that I have proudly designed. So this is my first point about why I love blogging. It helps me build my digital asset and expanding the portfolio. Now I'm going to dive into the second point, which is, since I'm a marketer, I believe I must market myself first before I market any product or service at my job. And one of the excellent ways to do just that is through my blogs. Specifically, my topic is about marketing and advertising, book reviews, life principles, and influential figures. And my writing style is not to educate, but to share my stories and experiences. So when my readers visit my website, they can instantly understand me, because my blogs show that my voice, my progression, and my knowledge. So then my blog is the ultimate presentation of myself. And for example, when I get to network with somebody new, I will have my website to show them, and this alone will make the conversation much more interesting and memorable. So this is my second point about why I love blogging. It helps me build my personal brand. And now I'm going to dive into the last point of the video, and it's also the most important one, which is, so my definition of legacy is very simple. It's the work that I can craft in my own way without following any standard or restriction from the external world, and you've got to know the very famous fantasy books and movies such as Harry Potter, The Lord of the Rings, Avatar, or the Marvel superheroes, and I always have this burning desire to be one for my own. I realized that through the act of writing, I can create something out of nothing. Basically, I believe in my own imagination. While the real world has countless restrictions, my imagination does not. And you know, in the era of AI, everyone is bombarded with talks of AI replacing humans and its ability to write 100 blog posts in under a minute. I mean, so what? To me, the best thing to do is to ignore those headlines because I want my voice to be defined and I want it to be heard by people. And you know, I always ask myself this question: am I proud that my legacy is built by someone else? Obviously, I will feel something off when doing something not mine. In other words, I'm stealing from others, and I definitely don't want that. And as I said from the beginning of this video, the third point is the most important one because it applies to how I approach every single aspect of my life. And the way I approach my life is to practice individualism. So individualism to me is to act and behave selfishly, putting my personal interests and benefits above those of others. The position that I am in today is partly because of individualism, and I will definitely make a separate video about this topic as I believe this philosophy will lead to the most fulfilling and content life.